Hello and welcome once again to Sean Saturday. In this video, I'm going to be talking about 3 different series that have a strong romance part and just don't quite, 2 of which don't hit it and one that does hit it. And obviously if you've read them, might know what I mean, but I'll dive in and explain. So the first series we're going to talk about is one we most recently finished, and that is the Theilluminae, Gemini and Undersea series. But before I actually start talking about what happens in these books, as you can see, I have some gross hair. So let's just shave it off, because why not? Alright, now that I've got your attention, and much worse hair, but it no longer goes in front of my eyes, how cool am I with a attempted, what was it, a 2 AM mohawk, if you can see that, 2:03. God, that took ages to do. So the Theilluminae files are the most recent book trilogy we finished, and it made me kind of think that 5-star, 4, 3.5, and a 3-star as the series goes, which is very much similar to this other series that has a very similar issue to me, which is a 4.5 star, 3-star. I think it's maybe 1.5 or 2 stars in the end. Didn't give that very much. But when I was discussing this trope, this thing with Alyce, she brought up the Red Rising. Well, we discovered that Red Rising has the exact same thing. So like 5-star, 5-star, 5-star. Like the difference that doing this thing right can make in your series. So the bit I really want to talk about is the love of the relationship between our two main protagonists. Obviously in Theilluminae you have 6, 7, 8 protagonists. You have Katie, Ezra, Hannah, Nick, Ella, Aiden, and Ash and Reese. Yeah, it's the relationship becomes like I could draw a graph of where it goes, like in the story, like so the story is like this flat line here, and like everything else in the world is like, I don't know, like the relationship goes like boop 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 on like books, sort of in the book 2 and book 3, like it's like the main focus of the universe, and then the other things go from like up here, just go like they just like drop off completely. And the exact same thing happens in The Cruel Prince, where Jude and Carden, their relationship is like it's like a slow simmer, and it's like whack the gas all the way up, and it just kind of falls apart because it's very much bits get rushed over. Like in Undersea, you get some vignettes which are really, really nice. I think Alyce talks about a lot more of these in her series review, which is coming up next week. It's coming up soon, very soon. She's doing a full series review of the 3 main books and the little memo, the other one, which I think is also a really good little vignette to add. So the main issue with these series that isn't happening in the Red Rising is the fact that the relationship of the 2 protagonists of each book, the 2 that the story centers around, it's very much a slow simmer. I'll call this is like a high fantasy or a high sci-fi world, and they have this like really rich world building. Like it talks about like how the elf world, the Fey world, is like adjacent to ours, and how they have like customs, and the fact that Jude and her sisters have to be taken care of. Oh yeah, at this point, spoilers are whatever. You probably know it's gonna be spoilers if you're talking about different book series. Yeah, and there's a lot of political intrigue with spies and relationships between humans and and the Fae. And in the Theilluminae, it has some things. It has a lot of like world building and the universe building, like the fact it's an illegal mining colony, and the fact that you're dealing with an AI, like the first of its kind, and a lot of trickery and illegal operations and space travel, and like going to a planet, then coming back to the planet, and then coming back to the planet. Talk different points of views, but similar thing. Like it's kind of hard to break this down. I'm probably have to do a written review because basically it's like diagrams. I found this really does work because the same thing happens in Red Rising with Darrow and Mustang. I don't know Mustang's real name. I will check. It doesn't actually have her name, the love interest in Red Rising, like in the little beginning sections, which is a shame. But that's just how it's done. But it's something that really annoys me about books when the book is set up with such this rich world and rich universe and rich storyline. There's a lot of political intrigue, a lot of world building, a lot of like character relationships between other characters, and it's slowly throughout the series it just chips away at all the stuff that you want to care about and you're interested in. And it just becomes like a love story. It just becomes like a love story, and that's not really what I signed up for, because it's not a love series. I know it's like relationships are common things in YA and young adult and new adult, sort of like in that age bracket. Like it's something that like you have to deal with because it's a fact of life. But it's not the only thing in life. It's like the way I picture life is like it's like a triangle. I don't know. How do I do triangles these days? Like, yeah, that way, this way, whatever. So you have like in this corner you have your work, this corner you have your family, and then this corner you have your friends. And like most lives don't just go to one corner. They like sort of hover around the middle a bit. Like, they like push to the sides a little bit. So obviously, in a good story, it sort of like bounces around a little bit from the middle, has some like from the middle to like each corner, and towards the end, like you have like a nice wrap up here, and a nice wrap up here, and a nice wrap up here. But too often in YA series, and there are more examples than just these two, but these are just two that I could think of, and I had on our shelves, like right there. I don't know if you can see the shelf, but just above H.G. Wells and the Iron Gold. That's where the Cruel Prince and Red Rising sit, and Theilluminae sits. It sits that end, but it's in the stack because it's recently finished and Alyce just used it. They have these. They tend to just kind of go from the triangle. They get like it's like bouncing around the middle. It's just sort of bouncing more and more towards the relationship. I think relationship was this corner, but like they bounce more and more towards the corner, the relationship, and they just as the parts just tend to fall apart. Like. There's a Covas virus in this. Disappears, doesn't really mentioned at all. Like it's just thrown away. And this is there's a whole Undersea kingdom where it only really feels like it's literally there's a lot. It's fleshed out quite a bit. It was like trying to get like capturing Prince there, capturing Carden or her. No, they captured Jude, I think. I don't really remember, but it's like it's mostly used for this like huge dramatic reveal where a slave girl is awoken to be like, oh god, my life is horrible. Oh, this is not like all these things that I thought weren't real are real. What have I done? What have I missed in my life? Is my life even still there? And she gets stones, puts them in the pocket, and like, oh great, she's totally gonna kill herself. And then you're like, oh, I'm gonna fly off on a horse back to the road. Oh yeah, she's fallen off into the ocean and died. Like, that's referenced again, like a little bit, and like, oh, I think I recognise one of the faces. But the whole political intrigue with the Undersea people and other people seeking the throne is very much thrown away because for some reason Holly Black decided to make this book the exact same length. And like, it's cool to have books the exact same length, but when you have a book the exact same length, why do you have a random snake section? Like, come on, that makes no sense. It was a huge waste of time. Could have been filled with a lot more like rounding off. And same with Theilluminae. All 3 books, they're all 650 pages ish, give or take. I think 615, 659, 599. Yeah, so they're all like 600 pages. And like, surely your conclusion should be bigger. And like, you can see with Red Rising, they do get quite chunky. Like 1, 2, and 3, they get quite a bit chunkier. A lot more stuff happens, and a lot more things need to be resolved. Instead of adding new elements like new characters or like weird, like I can't see how it happens with like the ghost betraying them, but then the relationship with the whole spy thing falls apart, and you have the bloody snake thing again. It's like, I don't know why that's in there. It's stupid. Cut out. Make this a really chunky boy. Make it a 4-book series. I think a lot of it does stem from the fact that currently the trilogy series, buying a trilogy of books is like really popular. Like, we've literally just finished Michelle Harris's Sprinkle of Sorcery, Pinch of Magic series. Like, that's a 3-book series, but that could be a better, or it could be a richer 4 or 5-book series. There's a lot more stuff added. But this Red Rising sort of is an exception. It's kind of unfair to include because it goes YA to like super old YA / new adult almost to like very much adult, like YA adult, very brutal, very much has that political intrigue that you actually want as you're growing through the series. Because I think series books, unless they're all published within the same year or 2, they should the characters should really age up. An event should age up like in Theilluminae. No, like high school-ish age, and like a bit older than high school age, but they should really be more like just finished high school, mid-university, going to like finishing university, and like, oh my god, I've left university and I'm like pissing about as my life for the like past couple of years, like chilling, doing my stuff. And like Red Rising, it does have that aging up from the trials. I don't know what they're called. Will they become the gold? The proving gold? Oh, I can't remember what the word is. But like, it's quite a big time gap through the series. Like, you feel, well, it's not that much of a time gap, but you feel the age of the characters so much and how they've grown up so quick. And that's more the focus. It's more like a character-driven political intrigue story instead of a romance series that has been slipped in under the cover of like a political, it's like fantasy sci-fi world. I really hope that you can't actually hear the washing machine behind me. You can even say, we haven't finished Wheel of Time, we can say the same as that. Like, the relationship between the characters is very much slow burn simmer. We're only on book 4? 3. 4. Book 4. Yeah. We're only on book 4. Like the City of Heaven. Heavenly City. I can't remember between like City of Heaven and City of Heavenly Fire. Like, lots of books have heaven in, especially fantasy-esque magic ones. But it's just mostly, I don't know if if it is a trope in YA, or it's not a trope. It's just a key element of YA, which obviously relationships are a key element of YA because at that age, relationships are like huge things in your life. But they shouldn't be, or they don't have to be the be all and end all of everything in your life. You're reading a book to escape something, like to escape your life, or to escape was like escapism. yes, you're reading a book for escapism, so they shouldn't be trying to get loads and loads of things in that are relatable at the cost of the story. Like you can. It's a balancing act. Obviously, like it's hard if you go one side really high, it becomes too surreal, and the other side it becomes too much contemporary. It's like your suspension of disbelief has to be at a point like it's like kind of maintained throughout the series, not going up and down too much. You can like go up and down a little bit, but not a whole amount, because then you just feel like you should have just read a single book or two books. They're like really high on that side of the spectrum. Well, like, spectrum is really bad. This is a really awful way of describing it. But basically, what I've learned from this is I'm going to read Red Rising, and because Alyce is the best person ever, she has bought me for Valentine's Day the Red Rising UK edition, first edition, with the lovely red hardcover. It's very, very pretty. Fortunately, this one isn't signed because Alyce was lucky enough to meet Pierce Brown for Dark Age. I think she got Iron Gold signed. But yeah, Iron Gold is definitely signed. Her Morning Star is definitely signed. But I'm not sure about Iron Gold if she met him. But I think I'm just gonna stick these on our TBR. I think they need to give young readers more credit on their suspension of disbelief and not go so heavy into the romance trope that you lose a lot of the story. It's kind of like my final thoughts, and I hope today that, or at some point in the near future, if you haven't already, we've earned your subscription, which is we're very thankful for. You've smashed the like button down below, and you follow us on Twitter follows Insta, Twitter, follows at places as Everything Alyce for Alyce, who does videos every Tuesday and Thursday. I'm back here every Saturday as Sean Can't Read. Just give us a follow. Let us know if I should be reading Red Rising again, or you agreed with my views that some series just don't quite stack up to others, and I don't know. I just feel really betrayed when when I read a book that's like a thing that's like a post-apocalyptic dystopia or something else, and it just turns into kind of like a trashy rom-com. Not trashy rom-com, like a trashy romance. I like romance. I like rom-coms. I'm not opposed to them, but don't sell it as something that it's not. Because I will, if I know it's a romance, I won't be so blindsided by it. And I probably might be more likely to pick it up, because I don't always want to read really heavy murder-filled books of murder and death. But yeah, remember to come back on Tuesday and check out what Alyce is doing. I think we're doing another TBR Hooker Duck. So we'll see you later. Bye.